All right, I am here at the MDF Tabor gun range, and today I brought my 30-06 out, my Savage. Wanted to shoot it one more time yet before I took it to the gunsmith and got it completely revamped. So the story behind this is when I was 17, 18 years old, had just gotten my hunting license, my gun license. My dad bought me this rifle, and so I bought this as a kit. Oh, what would that be, 15, 20 years ago? And this whole kit back then cost close to 400 bucks. And so now I haven't gone hunting in quite a few years, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go back to hunting. I was gonna upgrade this a bit. So first thing I'm gonna upgrade is the stock. I'm gonna put a Bell & Carlson on it, get the whole thing dura coated, put a muzzle brake at the end, and then upgrade the scope. So for now I'm gonna leave the barrel, I'm gonna leave the trigger. I might work on that later, but for now I'm gonna leave that. Now this Simmons scope 3x40, not 3x9 by 40, is somewhere like 40 bucks online. So they're not that great. I'm upgrading it with like $1,000 scope, so that in itself will be quite the upgrade. And the other thing about this stock, well, first off, it's flimsy, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera or not. See how it touches? Yeah, that's how flimsy the stock is. And I'll do a shot yet down the barrel when it's on sitting on the bipod like this. Maybe you can see it. There you go. It's just too flimsy. So yeah, back when I bought it, my dad didn't have a lot of money to spend into guns, so I wasn't gonna go buy an expensive one. I just went and bought a good kit that came with a scope and ready to go. I mean, it didn't come with the bipod. That's a Harris bipod I put on later, but now it's time to upgrade it. So I was gonna do a couple 3-round groups on paper to see what it shoots like with this stock, the scope, and no muzzle brake. And then I'll use exact same ammo once the gunsmith is done with it and upgraded it, and let's see how big of an improvement it is. One thing that might improve with after it's done is just the scope is going to be so much better. I'll be able to see better, so that in itself might make it more accurate. But also a properly bedded rifle stock that doesn't sound like cheap Tupperware is also going to make a huge difference. So the ammo that I'm shooting is this Barnes. I've had that for quite a few years. I still 150 grain tip TSX boat tail, and there's one empty, and I use this one to shoot a bull that we butchered for my family, my brother-in-law's family. So I'll cut that clip in here, what this 150 grain bullet does to 2,500 pound bull. I mean, he wasn't very far away, but one of these between the eyes took care of him right quick. Good shot. So I'll use this factory ammo to shoot a group, and then I'll take this to the gunsmith, and it'll be a couple of weeks, a month till he's done with it. And then we'll take it back and we'll use the same box of ammo and shoot a group on the same piece of paper, and let's see what the same rifle can do if you just put a good stock, a muzzle brake, and a good scope on it. So let's shoot some groups. All right, so I got my Armageddon medium bag back here as a good back support, and see what the best we can do. On one of my other rifles I have whatever it is, 5x36 scope that goes up to 36 magnification. This one only goes to 9. So after we're shooting that one that can go up to 36, shooting this 9 feels like this has very little magnification. And the scope I'm putting on here is a 5x25 magnification, so that is going to make a huge difference, just the scope alone. But I'm going to start off with, I've got 5 rounds of just hand loads. I don't even know what these are. They were left over from years ago. I'm just going to, because I just cleaned the barrel, I'll use these to warm up the barrel a bit and get a few test fires in before I go for my group with Barnes, and then we'll switch over to that. So I'll shoot 5 rounds of this practice ammo, and then I'll switch over to the barns, and then I'll shoot my 2 groups with 3 shots each. So let's go. This thing jumps a lot. I'm hoping that muzzle brake is going to cut down a lot of that jump. And then once I've got this all fixed, this is going to become my primary hunting rifle. Just need to upgrade it so it can perform properly and take the animals nicely without, you know, making bad shots and things like that. So all right, let's go for groups. Now, one thing about this scope, the reticle in it is so fat that just from one side, if I zoom into a target, and there's lines on the target, if I want to put it on the crosshair, I have quite a bit of playroom before I can see that line on one side of the reticle or the other. So the reticle in this thing is super thick, so that in itself is not going to make it as accurate. But we'll do the best we can. We'll aim as small as we can, because if you can't aim a small group, you can't shoot a small group, even if your rifle's perfect. The other thing is, the reason why I'm just single feeding them and not, you know, using a magazine is my magazine, that little clip back there that clips to the rifle, snapped off, and a friend of mine who's a welder is putting a little clip back on there so it doesn't just constantly keep falling out. And so he's gonna just make sure that that fits again, and then the gunsmith can then do all his work. So let's go for groups with this Barnes ammo and see what it can do. And then once the gun has been rebuilt, we'll do it again. All right, cool. While I was letting for this barrel to cool down, I went down to the target and took a look, and the group was better than expected for what this rifle is. So if the groups even only improve a little bit, but the comfort will probably improve a whole bunch after I've installed all the parts. And the other thing is, shooting at 100 yards is one thing, but you know, at the last part of legal hunting light, or the earliest part, dusk and dawn, that can make a big difference. Also, not everything is going to be at 100 yards, so it'll still pay to improve it. But I was surprised with that group. So we have a little bit of wind, but let's go for the second group, and then I'll show you the target, and then we'll see what it's like after it's rebuilt. All right, cool. That's 3 rounds, 2 groups of 3 rounds. Let's go have a look. All right, to be honest, I did forget my paper at home, but luckily somebody left one up here and the holes are all taped off. So here was the 5 shots to warm up. And then this was the first 3-round group. Just about covered with my thumb, so that kind of surprised me. And here's the second 3-round group. So that's actually not too bad, but let's see what the bottom 2 are going to look after the rifle has been rebuilt. All right, thanks for joining me for another session at the gun range. And here's one last look at the rifle. Next time you see it, it'll be unrecognizable. And then we'll see what it shoots like then. But Thanks for joining me. See you next time.